Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Bren Carlil, and I'm the Director of Public Affairs at the Zionist Federation of Australia. First, before we begin this evening, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I speak, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respect to their elders past and present. Knowing that this conversation is being watched in every Australian state, I would also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of all the lands on which people are watching this. And before I start, I want to remind you of two things. You would have seen in our newsletter that we have written a letter of solidarity from the Australian Jewish community to the people and the President of Israel. That is being handed over to the President very soon. And if you haven't put your name to that letter, I would strongly encourage you to do so and to quickly share it with your friends and family. You can read the letter at zfa.com.au/solidarity. Very easy to sign your name to it, and that way it will be printed out and handed to the president when our president, Jeremy Liebler, speaks to him in a couple of days. Second of all, there is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to click on that and pose any questions to our guests this evening. We won't be opening the mics, but we will have a look at those questions as they come in. And so on to our guests. Our guests this evening are Rina, Peretz and Lisa Halperin. Rina is the CEO of the Central Arava Regional Council, and she will be telling us about the incredible lengths that the residents of the Arava went to accommodate other Israelis in need after 7th of October. Now, Lisa is the mother of two young girls, and the three of them were evacuated as a result of the Hamas massacre on the 7th of October and the ensuing war. Now, tonight, Lisa will share her personal experience of being embraced by the Arava Desert community. Rina and Lisa will be in conversation with our CEO, Jeanette Searle, who I know needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever. So with no further ado, Jeanette, I will hand the mic over to you.
Thank you very much, Bren, and good evening, everyone. I really can't start a ZFA conversation tonight without acknowledging the position we're at today. We've held our collective breaths as by now a total of 26 Israelis and 15 foreign nationals who were kidnapped by Hamas on 7th of October and held in Gaza for 49 or 50 days have been released and returned to Israel. We're relieved for them and for their families, but we know that for every joyful reunion, there are heartbreaks. Some hostages were released with other family members remaining in Gaza. Some already have been released and some people already released and some still in captivity have had close families murdered. And there are still nearly 200 hostages remaining in Gaza. I'm sure that many of you joining us tonight, like me, are nervously awaiting the next release tonight our time and hoping that there are no delays or glitches. At the same time, we're committed to keeping up the pressure and awareness in every arena until every single hostage is released and returned. And now, let's turn to tonight's conversation. And as Bren said, I invite you to contribute to the conversation by putting your questions through the Q&A function on the Zoom. The Central Arava region is a jewel of an area that you may well have driven past on the way to Eilat. If you're lucky, or if you're smart, you might have stopped there. It's a very special part of the country. It's remote. It has a quiet border with Jordan. It doesn't have big hotels or shopping malls or a vibey club and restaurant scene. It doesn't have a beach, but it does have endless desert vistas. Picture this. It's literally in the middle of the desert, and its major industry is agriculture. They grow vegetables and flowers for international export. There's a cutting-edge research and development centre. There's ACAT, which is an agricultural training centre, providing advanced agricultural training and expertise to students who come from all over the world. And there are incredible, creative, and brilliant people there who also happen to be hospitable and kind. Through the Jewish Agency's Partnership Together program, Australia has partnered with this tiny, remote, and awesome community. And for more than 20 years, we've undertaken projects together. We've sent and welcomed delegations of educators and students, artists, photographers, and scientists and literally thousands of Australians have been hosted in this oasis, building relationships that feel like family. Knowing this community, the fact that they turned their region into a welcoming haven for thousands of Israelis who were evacuated from their homes after the 7th of October attacks wasn't such a surprise. But I have to admit, even I wondered, how did this community, even though they created agricultural miracles in the desert, how did they pull this one off? Before we speak to Rina Peretz, who's going to talk more about how the community responded, and to Lisa Halperin, who was one of the almost 3,000 guests who've been embraced, I'm going to hand over to Rabbi Adam Berman, the director of the Arava Australia Partnership, to share a few thoughts. Adam, please, over to you.
Thank you, Jeanette. I just want to say it's a privilege always to work with such special communities, with the Central Arava and with the Jewish community of Australia, working on how to shorten the distance and bring us all together. But particularly in this time of crisis, in this time of darkness, it's been really obvious and clear, these bright points of light, and what's truly special and warm and beautiful about each of the communities that have shown through the darkness. So the incredible effort by the Arava we'll discuss at length in this conversation. I'll also mention briefly one beautiful initiative that's come out of our partnership volunteers on the Australian side that's resulted in a shipment of some of the most beautiful stationery in Australia that we're looking forward to receiving in the Arava, hopefully within the next week or so. This started as just a small idea from our active volunteers to send a gift to give some sort of embrace from afar to the evacuee children in the Arava. And then this idea really snowballed in the best of ways when it met the outpour of generosity, of enthusiasm, of willingness to help from Jewish Day School, from the broader Jewish community, and from a small token of support, it's turned into 2 full pallets of stationery that we're looking forward to receiving and to putting to use at the school that's being set up for evacuees from the October Regional Council here in Yahav in the Arava. On the partnership side, I'm happy to be here alongside Rina Peretz, speaking to you from Sapir, from the offices of the Central Arava Regional Council, which I hope symbolizes what we've tried to do since the beginning of the war of standing alongside as partners, as supporters to the amazing efforts of the region. Unfortunately, a lot of our plans for the coming months, we were looking forward to welcoming group after group after group of Australians here in the Arava, which sadly is not happening this year. Hopefully we'll get double the number of visitors in 2024, God willing. But in the meantime, I'm proud that we were able to quickly pivot and divert funds to support the emergency effort and response happening here in the Arava. By the first thing we did was supporting giving meals through our local caterer that we often work with for the groups, but in this case was providing hot meals to evacuees, supporting expansion of medical services, which is something that we did even before the war, but we were able to help step that up. Communications equipment for the local civilian defense teams, and supporting the Adam V'Adama schools food rescue operations to help agriculture during this time of crisis. So I'm happy and proud that as mutual agents of both the Arava in Israel and the Jewish community of Australia, we were able to pivot and react quickly to help do a part in supporting these beautiful efforts in which you are about to hear. And I'm very happy and thankful to the Zionist Federation of Australia for hosting this conversation, which I see as a story of partnership, of camaraderie, of solidarity, and really shows what makes Israel so special, and in particular, what makes the Arava so warm and unique. So with that, I will pass it back to Jeanette for the conversation.
Thank you very much, Adam. Rina, it's It's really lovely to see you again. I hope that next time we see each other, it will be in person, it will be in better circumstances, and it will be in the Arava in Israel. But tonight, I welcome you here with us. I welcome you back virtually, at least, to the Australian community. And I'd like to ask you, maybe start off by asking you, what happened? What was it like for you on the 7th of October? As you heard the news come in, what went through your minds? What did the Regional Council do? And how did you respond in those first few critical hours?
Hi. Okay. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Lisa. First of all, I'm very glad to be here, and I'm very glad to meet you again, all of you. I wrote a few words, and I would like to express and tell everybody what we did from the first moment. So, with your permission, I will start to tell the story about the Arava, what's happened here from the first moment. First of all, I would like to say a few words about myself. I came to the Arava 20 years ago, and I have 4 sons. 3 of them are in the army right now. One of them is, I'm a little bit excited about when I'm talking about my kids at the army. One of them is doing his regular army service, and 2 of them are in the reserve. From the first day of the war, from the first day, they got a phone call. We call here Tzav Shmone, and they got to the army. They are all in the combat units. Of course, I'm very worried about them, and I hope that they will all come home safely. We have a vegetable farm, and as you said, we have a vegetable farm, and we work very hard. Especially this, and now, since many of the workers left, I am the CEO of the Regional Council. But it's very important to say, my first job in the Arava was as a director of the partnership. And now, let's go to the war. An hour after Hamas attacked, the head of the council called the main staff of the council to come and start working on plans for absorbing evacuees. From the moment until now, this has been our main focus. First of all, the first thing that we did at the first day, we allocated a staff member to coordinate between the local guest unit owner and evacuees from the communities near Gaza who needs a place to stay. Some of them came without anything, and the Arava residents took care of their basic needs: food, clothing, and shelter. Within a week, each of the Arava communities has organized distribution centers where the residents donate food, clothing, sheets, and towels, and toiletries, babies' goods, toys, bicycles, and every other possible things that evacuees might need. The partnership was the first, and thank you to Adam, was the first to help out with donation for arranging hot meals for the evacuees, and I would like to thank you all for that. Many Israelis, private citizens, and businesses also donated to our distribution centers. This is a beautiful side of Israel, which isn't shown in the foreign media, unfortunately. During the first months of the war, there were almost 2,500 evacuees in the region, and it raised up to 3,000 in the meantime. This is an addition of 50% to the population of the Arava. The second really important thing that we did was to arrange for mental support service for evacuees. The social workers of the region worked around the clock for the first few weeks until we got additional professional help from the Ministry of Health. At the same time, we appointed a coordinator to run social activities for hundreds of children of all ages who had come to the region. As the war carried on into the 3rd week, we realized with the people of Eshkol that it would be long, and the evacuees asked us to help them set up a kindergarten and school for the children. We could not absorb their children in our local schools, both due to their needs for emotional support, and also due to lack of space in bomb shelters. We also have a problem. We looked for a place where all the children could be together and decided to establish the school on Moshav En Yahav. We used all the public building on En Yahav for the school, the members hall, the youth club, the library, the gym, and the various other buildings. Within a week, 1 week, the school was up and running, and it's very exciting to see the children meeting and greeting each other at the school every morning. This is a summary, only a summary of the main things that we have been doing for the evacuees. At the same time, we also had to think about how the war affects our own residents, and especially the security of our communities. Our disadvantages of isolation and distance from urban center have now turned into advantages. And I'm really proud of how we all came together to embrace the evacuees during these difficult times. So I hope that I succeed to give you just a hint of what's happened here for the last 7 weeks. So it was very, very busy, but it was very meaningful for all of us to do all the activities and still doing that.
Rina, thank you very much for that summary. It's a very humble summary, I have to say, because here you are, a community of 5,000, spread across quite vast distances. It's a long drive from Moshav Faran to Sapir or En Yahav. It's a really long way. How many communities are in the Central Arava? Maybe you want to paint a bit of a verbal picture so people understand what we're talking about. We're not talking about a city or even a suburb like Caulfield where everybody lives within 20 minutes of each other. What does it look like? What's your community like?
Okay, first of all, the Arava strip is in the regional, in the Central Arava. We're talking about more than 70 kilometers from the northern Moshav to the southern Moshav, Moshav Idan and Moshav Paran. We're talking here. We have 5 Moshavim and 2 community. יישובים קהילתיים.
Towns, community, villages.
Yes, small communities. Just to explain what is a moshav, all of us are working in agriculture or and we have a farm, and it's very, very isolated area from the cities like Dimona or Beersheba or Eilat, and everything is going by cars or by bus. And we have the central area, which is Sapir, the regional council, and all the community center and the schools. And this is how we work. We used to it. So I don't know something else. If I need something, I need to go buy my car and go and drive almost 40 minutes to see my friends, or if my son wants to be with his friend in Moshav Paran, so I have to drive 40 minutes. And there is no buses. There is no buses it can go. So we did it, and of course also with the evacuees. I don't know how to say it, but everyone just call us. We want to help. We want to be involved. We want to do something. Tell us what to do. So we established. It was, I'm telling you, it was 1 week, and all the seven distribution centers were raised up with food. It's like a small mall that all the people from the communities around Gaza can come in their moshav, in their community, and come and take whatever they need. It was, of course, free of charge, and whatever they need. And if they said we need A, B, C, so we called and we try to donate or we buy. So we try to give them all their needs, everything. And of course, the mental and health, a dentist care and optometrist, and we try to give them a sense of regular life. Like you here, it's your home. This is what we try to do.
It's quite amazing, Rina, to think, and I'm going to go back to the numbers because you did say 50% addition to the regular population of 5,000. 5,000 is really not a lot of people. As I said at the very beginning, you don't have hotels, you don't have big accommodation facilities. Where did you put 3,000 people? Where did 3,000 people, where were they accommodated in your region?
First of all, we have it's like a tourist site. Some of us has tourist sites, so they can ask them to live there. You know, it's like Zimmer, B&B, so they can stay there. And a lot of us have a small units and not along near the houses. So of course, they also can be there. And I must say about myself that I had people at my house. So it was like that. There is all the variety. You can be at the Zimmer, at B&B, you can be in a unit that we, in a regular day, I used to give it to my family or something like that. And it can be at my home. So we did everything, and that's what was. That's what it was. That's what it was.
That's what it was. So you've had people in your community who've been home hosting guests for 8 weeks, right?
For what?
For like 7 or 8 weeks, you've been home hosting your guests.
I'm not sure about 7 weeks. I guess it, it changed, but at least 3-4 weeks, I heard people who did it. I did it for 2 weeks. It's not easy, but I did it for 2 weeks, and then we found another place. So it changed, but everything was under control. And of course, when someone or one family moved to another place, which may be more comfortable, they wanted, I guess Lisa will say it, but they wanted their independent also. So they try to find a place that they can be independent, not connected to my kitchen or my. So we try to adapt their needs. Okay, I'm to adapt.
So I'm going to ask you one more question, Rina, before I turn my attention to Lisa. But regional councils, or I don't know what it's like in Israel so much, but I know in Australia, councils, any level of government operates with certain bureaucracy. It seems that there was no bureaucracy. The decision to welcome people to the Central Arava seems to have been one that went through like that, without bureaucracy, without a lot of red tape or paperwork. Is that right? Or was there discussion?
Yeah, this is one of the complaints of our residents, that how you work so fast when with the people from the communities of around Gaza, and not for me. If I have a problem, why? So I don't know how to explain it. But first of all, we did the bureaucracy is with the ministry, is with the government, not with us. But the truth and the right answer is like all of us understand that we are in a special time. It's a war, and there is no time to talk. There is no time to prepare. We need to do. Just first of all do. And I said it like it was נעשה ונשמע, just a minute, נעשה ונשמע מעמד הר סיני, Mount Sinai. We do, and after that we listen. So we embrace the people, we ask them to come, we host them, we did everything that they need, what can do, and then we thought, okay, are we going to find a donation for this and this, and how are we going to pay for it? But first of all, come. First of all, be here. Feel safe. Feel it's like your home. We are here. It's okay. Calm down. We are here. We are for you. And then we thought what to do. And it's worked. It's worked.
It's amazing. Amazing power. Lisa, I'm going to turn to you now, and really thank you so much for joining us and for your willingness to share your experience. And I'm sure it hasn't been, and it continues to not be an easy experience for you to have gone through or even to talk about. Lisa, can I take you back, if you don't mind, to the 7th of October and maybe tell us about the 6th of October, about the place that you were living, about what your life was like there, what your community was like.
Good evening. First of all, thank you for having me. I'll start with a bit of background. I live on Moshav Talmei Yosef. I have 3 sisters. We all live there, and my parents live on Moshav Talmei Yosef, and my grandmother. So we're quite a big family. We all live on the Moshav, and before that Saturday, we lived a very quiet and nice life. Besides having a few rounds during the years, when it was quiet, it was very quiet. It's home. I've been there almost my whole life, and basically that's where I wanted to raise my kids and build my family, and that's home for me. Nowhere else. I've never thought of living anywhere else, and I still don't. I still want to go back home. On the Friday, the 6th of October, my daughters and I decided to do camping on my parents' lawn on the Moshav. That means that on that Saturday, we woke up in a tent, the 3 of us, to noises that on the one hand we are used to, on the other hand, it was totally different to what we are used to. I woke my girls up, and quickly but calmly we went into my parents' house, and we went into the safe room with my parents. My younger sister has 2 young kids. She lives near my parents. She doesn't have a safe room. And her husband and her took the kids out of bed and ran into my parents' house to the safe room. So we were there. My sister, they are 4 members. We are 3, and my parents. We were 9 people. After about an hour, we brought my grandmother, who also lives near my mom. She does have a safe room, but we didn't want her to stay on her own. She's 89 years old. Healthy, good, totally there, but we didn't want her to stay on her own. Very quickly, we realized that it's something different. It's not what we used to. Our moshav wasn't, basically no one came into our moshav, but the neighboring moshav, the Hamas did go into, and there was sorry.
Okay.
A few hours of fighting there. Fortunately, no one from the moshav was harmed or killed, but people from a different moshav came to help them, and unfortunately they were killed. We heard all the gunshots, all the fighting basically from that moshav in my parents' house. My daughters, I have a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old who suffer from anxiety from before, and now it's even worse than what it used to be. I'm very thankful that I was with my parents and not alone with my 2 daughters. My parents gave me strength and helped me get over those terrible hours. For a few hours, we had no electricity, no telephones, no connection with the outside world, basically. Every hour, the Rav Shatz, that's the man that is in charge of the security on the Moshav, he sent us messages once an hour when we were able to receive them, to let us know what's happening on the Moshav and around. He did a very good job of keeping us calm, explaining to us what the situation was, and in a very calm and assertive tone. Oh, sorry, I'm losing a bit of my words. So we were basically 10 people in the safe room at my parents'. Most of the day in the safe room, part of the day just in the house close to the safe room with the doors locked. Not easy. Not easy. A small safe room.
Yeah, I'm sure, Lisa. I'm sorry. I understand this is really difficult, and really, again, appreciate you sharing. How long were you there for? How long did you have to stay in the safe room or close to it?
Basically until we left the Moshav, which was on the 8th of October. We slept in the safe room. The safe room was full of mattresses on the floor, one double bed, and the rest was mattresses from wall to wall. We all slept there. My younger sister has a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And her husband's family live on kibbutz Kisufim, which was they had it bad. They had the Hamas in the kibbutz. We lost contact with them for many hours. We didn't know what's happening. Everyone was very, it was bad. And we started hearing from friends of family and my daughter's friends from school, and friends of mine that were murdered and kidnapped. Friends of my daughters that were kidnapped and murdered. Living in a school, everyone knows someone who is related to someone that has been murdered or abducted. It touched everyone. We were lucky that they didn't manage to get into our Moshav. We had the Kitat Konenut, which is basically the people from the Moshav who had guns, well, more or less had guns, that took care of us and made sure that no one comes into the Moshav. They weren't really sorry. Most of them had only their personal guns. I'm sorry, I can't find the correct word. But they made sure that we feel safe.
Yeah.
They made sure we feel safe. It was about 10 of them. And it was difficult, very difficult.
I'm sure.
Not knowing what's happening outside.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can't imagine, Lisa, how difficult it was for you, not only being confined to the safe room, but also that level of stress and anxiety and worry. You should know everybody in Australia was worried and concerned, but it wouldn't touch the size of what you guys were going through over there, and going through it knowing that, or not knowing what might be happening in the next hour. So if I can just talk you through, when you emerged from the safe room, when it was on the 8th, when you were told it was safe to come out, what happened then? What were you told? Where you were going? What was the process there?
Okay, so we weren't told much. We were told that on the 8th, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If whoever wants to evacuate can evacuate together with the army. I'm sorry. The army basically helped us out. We each left in our own private cars. It wasn't something that was organized, that we knew where we were going. I had nothing on me. My brother-in-law took me to my house, guarded me with his gun, and I took some stuff for me and my daughters. I put them in the car, and at 3 o'clock, we all went to the gate of the Moshav, and we were escorted out on the road that goes parallel to the border with Egypt, because we weren't allowed to go on our main roads.
Yeah.
So I had a few things for my daughters, a little bit of clothing, and we left. My parents have friends that became family of ours on Ein Yahav, the Bloch and Eshet family. My mother called them an hour before we left and said, look, 2 of my daughters need a place to stay. And they straight away said, just send them here, anything they need and everything they need. So it took us a few hours to get there. And Izzy and Etty, Bloch and Healy and Oded Eshet and their 3 amazing kids just opened their houses and their hearts and accepted us in. The first day on the Saturday, I arrived with my sister, who her husband is in the Miluim, the reserve force. So he stayed on the Moshav, and she came with her 2 kids. Her daughter is 8, her son is 10. So the 2 of us arrived with our children to Eti and Izzy Bloch's Zimmerim. It's like a
Bed and breakfast.
guest. Yeah. We arrived there. When we arrived, there were other families there already that managed to leave earlier than us. And that became our home for many weeks. So I would like to say thank you to the Bloch and Eshet family and to the whole of Ein Yahav and the Arava, that no questions asked, just opened their houses, opened their hearts, opened their pockets, and just let us feel a bit of normal. No questions asked, just anything we need, everything we need. Things that we needed and were unavailable, we asked for, and we got everything. Everything and anything we could ask for. I stayed there with my daughters up until a week ago, last Sunday. My daughters and I, we left to Kibbutz Na'an in the center of the country for various personal reasons. We decided to leave the Arava. It was very difficult for us to leave, but personal reasons, we decided that we need to leave. But definitely in the Arava, it was as close as possible to feeling normal that we felt since we were basically evacuated from our houses. The children were accepted to the chugim, which are the
Like clubs, after
the
school
sport-
activities. Yeah.
Yes, after school activities. My daughters went. My one daughter's a swimmer, so she went swimming there. The other daughter is a dancer, so she went dancing there, and it gave us a sort of a feeling of normal.
Mm.
But very difficult for 7, 8 weeks to be with no proper school, proper מסגרת.
Yeah. Framework and structure.
Yeah, yeah, frame. It's very difficult. And before the war began, they were out of school for almost a month before then, for the Sukkot and Kippur, and so they haven't been at school for about 3 weeks. Yeah, sorry, 3 months.
3 months.
And
Yes.
everything is very difficult. My older daughter in Kita Vav, she's 11. A friend of hers from class has been abducted by the Hamas with her family from Kibbutz Nirod. My daughter asks me all the time, "Where's Yuval? Is she with her family? Are they treating her nicely? Is she eating? Is she sleeping? Can she go and use the bathroom? Can she take a shower?" And
Wow.
unfortunately, I have no answer for her. I don't even know. I can't lie to her. I just tell her that I don't know. And when I do have an answer, I'll let you know. Yuval and her family haven't been released yet. Every day we pray for them, for their release.
Yeah. It's too close, isn't it?
It's very close. I mean, that's my daughter. I have a lot of people that I know that have been abducted and have been murdered. My daughters know a few people that have been murdered and abducted, and it's just like not realistic. It's like, pinch me. I want you to wake me up. Am I dreaming? Is this a nightmare? When does
Yeah.
this finish?
Must be. Must be
Um,
like that. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I cannot imagine how it is for you. Rina, you talked about the support and the social work that's provided through the regional council for for the evacuees and their families. Are you able to give us a little bit more explanation or more information about how that's been received and how effective and how successful that's been? The challenges that the therapists are finding. Lisa's given us a very, very personal insight there, and I think that would be a challenge for any therapist in any country in the world.
First of all, I know that all the social workers worked around the clock, as I said before, and I know that we asked for help with psychiatrists and people from the center. One hospital took in charge. The Ministry of Health sent us doctors from a hospital from the center. I don't know about the treatment. I know that it was very, very hard for our people because, as they said, it's not a regular thing because they had to get the social worker needs to go through a training how to work with people that went through trauma, this kind of trauma. This is not something that they can that they knew. And by the way, we send 2 people from our social workers to study a special course of how to work with people that had a trauma. And I don't know about the treatment. I know that it was very, very hard, very hard. And I must say that she said that in the beginning, the social worker, the head of the department, she said that in the beginning, the evacuees didn't want to talk They want to talk only for, around themselves. They didn't want any help in the beginning. But after that, for the last 6 weeks, they've been here, five weeks. They've been here and it's become better. They understood that it's for them and it's going to help them, and it's better for them to talk and to share and to get some help. And it's become better, but I don't know, especially, I don't know, it's very personal things, but I know that it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for anyone.
And as a regional council, you had to coordinate and absorb teams of professionals, right? You had to enlist them and provide them with facilities to work out of, right? Like you didn't have enough doctors and therapists and social workers and teachers and.
Yes, we allocated more social workers that we have here, and also all the health department or the doctors and the nurses had, we opened the clinics for extra hours, and we asked for dentals and dentist doctors to come and give them treatment, and we expand the jobs, I would say that, but the main thing is that the Ministry of Health help us and send us doctors from the center. And, of course, we host them, we give them everything, we give them the clinics, we give them everything that so that they can do their job. They can do what they need to do.
And you mentioned at the beginning, Rina, that one of the first initiatives was to provide activities and to build the kindergartens and the schools so that there's normality for the kids. And Lisa, I'm sure for your kids you talked about the chugim. I'm sure that was so important for you and your family to have something to do during the day. But Rina, I'll ask you, and Lisa also, if you want to reflect on it too, what were the adults doing? Like what did you organize activities or programs or support also for the parents, for the adults? I can imagine that for them it's dislocating, it's disorienting. It's as Lisa said, you said it as well, Rina, when you have people living in your house, they're a family. It's one thing, and I've been hosted by people in the Arava, and Lisa, I know Hili Bloch Eshet. She's an unbelievable, warm, lovely person, and it would be lovely to be hosted by her for a few days on a holiday. But that's not what you were doing. It's not the same as going on a holiday and having a lovely, home hosting experience. So yeah, just like to ask you what were the sorts of things, Rina, how did you organize for 2,500-3,000 people to be meaningfully occupied during the days?
First of all, I'm not sure that they were occupied during all day, but we had more than 50 soldiers. They came from education department in the army, and they helped us. They asked the kids to come, and in each moshav, in each community settlement, we have the open space, we have the desert, and we have the center of the moshav, and we ask them to come and do some activities. Also, the community center send, the basketball teacher to do some activities, and I don't know, it's gone, it's run and it's happened. I know that many people who, in theater or something like that, so they can do some workshop. They said, okay, I'm going to do this and this workshop, and it's, you can come, and we did it. In the evening, I know that, for a Friday, Shabbat supper, in each moshav we did a common dinner or Kabbalat Shabbat, light the candle and with the challah, and I don't know, we did a lot of activities.
Lisa,
maybe Lisa can say more, but
Lisa, were you in a position and in a frame of mind that you were able to take advantage of those activities, or did you find comfort in
Uh,
having other
mm,
evacuees around you?
well, um, my my daughters and I, my sisters and I, we kind of stayed in our own community. At some point, another one of my sisters arrived to Etienne Easy Bloch. So we were three sisters. Then we stayed in our community with other people from Eshkol, not necessarily part of the activities that were offered. It was very difficult for us uh, to be part of a different community. Not that we're not thankful for everything that was offered and done for us. We weren't in the state of mind of being there. The children weren't up to doing anything. We were basically 24/7 around the kids, feeding them, keeping them occupied. We had Healy and Oded and Etienne Easy taking the kids and doing things with them, giving us a few minutes break. But basically, we were there with the kids 24/7. My daughters didn't want to take part of any activities. They just wanted to stay close to me. They still want to stay close to me. I
Understood.
managed to get an hour quiet to attend this Zoom. But it's sleeping with me in my bed. It's going to have a shower. Ima, please come with me. Going to the toilet. Ima, please come with me. All the time calling me to see where I am, what I'm doing, that I'm close, that I'm there, that I haven't disappeared. If I go to the bathroom, then they stand outside the door and Ima, and they call me and they want to know what's happening. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to be too rude, but I couldn't even pee on my own.
Yeah.
Uh, up
It's
until
hard.
today.
Yeah, I think it's what you're explaining here, what you're expressing here is something that, we're not seeing in the papers, obviously. You see the harshest and the most difficult parts of it, but the ripple effect and impact on you who've had to be evacuated, who, you're not in your home at the moment, that so many people that you're struggling with the lack of knowing of what's happened to some of your friends and acquaintances, and unfortunately the knowing of the terrible things that happen to others, that's going to have ripple effects in Israeli society for who knows how long. So I think that is a really important reminder that this isn't just about 1,200 people killed, 240 people abducted. This is about a trauma on the whole of Israeli society, but especially those of you who've been directly impacted like you have. Lisa, how are your girls? Your girls are still traumatized. What are your plans? What do you see? You said at the beginning that you're intending to go back to Eshkol, that you'd like to. Are you able to formulate plans for the future at this stage, or still too early?
No future right now. I'm sorry, it sounds harsh, but it is harsh. I can't think about the future right now. I think of each day as it goes, what happens. I moved now to Kibbutz Nan in the center of the country. I have family here. I'm trying to get my girls into the school here. I hope my girls will go. Uh, not for studying, for having some kind of מסגרת,
A routine, yeah.
routine. I have family here who are supporting us, my aunt and my cousins. So I hope that my daughters will go to school. It will give me a little bit of time to do things on my own, things that I haven't done for almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Be on my own, that I haven't been for almost 2 months. Yes, I would love to go back home. Yes, my house is standing. My moshav is standing, but my whole community is not.
Yeah.
And I can't go back home until I know that there is peace, that there's no war going on, that my daughters are safe to go back home. I before then, there's no option in my. That's what I think. I cannot take my daughters back there. I haven't been back at home since that Sunday. I don't know when I'll go back. My daughters want to go home, but
Yeah.
they can't. And they know that they can't. And they won't go home. And I won't go home until I know that home is safe. Because right now, home is not safe.
Yeah.
And I will not put my daughters in any harm,
Absolutely.
even though that's home.
Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. We can only wish and pray that your home will soon be safe, that your daughters will be safe and well, and will somehow together with you and together with the rest of your community get through this. I know it's not about getting over this, it's getting through this and coming out the other end and finding a way to live a good life in the future. And honestly, I cannot thank you enough for joining us today and for sharing this, because I do appreciate how difficult it is to relive this and to think about these things when really what you're thinking is, how do I get through to the next day? Rina, I just want to move back to you if we can, just for a final question, and I'm just going to check if we have any questions that I've missed on not on the Q&A. No, we've got so many expressions of love, actually, of love and support on the Q&A. No particular questions, but Lisa, there is so much of an outpouring of solidarity for you, for your daughters, for your family, and for Israel. Rina, there is also, and you know this from the partnership point of view, there is also such an appreciation of the work that you do in the Arava, the work of the partnership, but also the work in this case, the incredible work of the partnership in opening your arms and your homes and your hearts to 50% more people than your community actually houses. We know you're an incredible community. We know you're a warm community. We know you're hospitable. But this goes beyond any expectation that I could have imagined. I think this is a story of Jewish solidarity. This is a story of Jewish peoplehood. And we've always felt this in the Australia Arava partnership. And now we see it's not just about us. It's about all of Israel. It's about all the Jewish people. And from our hearts to your heart, Lisa, and to all of your community, we thank you for joining us today. We pray for resolution. We pray for the return, Rina, of your boys, of your children, safely and sound, and of all the other IDF soldiers who are so bravely fighting for Israel's security and for the security of the Jewish world and the Western world. And we pray for the return of each and every one of those hostages. And Lisa, I hope that soon your daughter will be reunited with her friend, and we'll see that she's okay, please God. Bren, I'm going to hand over to you. We are at 9 o'clock and I'm sorry for going over, but this was a very important story to share. So thank you again. And Bren, to you.
Thank you.
Jeanette, look, I have no words.
Thank you.
No words to add after that beautiful conclusion, Jeanette. Thank you, Rina. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Jeanette. We are all thinking of you. Stay safe, and we look forward to more peaceful times. Good night, everybody.